to go.
Well, Brad, you started very well. What turned it around, do you think?
Yeah, I thought the start was really good. We executed, we gave ourselves enough opportunity to score. We probably didn't capitalise on that as much as we would have liked. They got on top of us in the second quarter, and we obviously had the 15 minutes of madness there. So it was, but even then, I thought we regrouped reasonably well, and the second half, the second quarter, and the third quarter, and we tried to get going back on our terms. But I mean, the story of the game for us was we got plus 10 in contested possession, more inside 50s. I think the clearances were pretty good too, but we got scored against from our mistakes. So, and that's our own fault. In combination with they're an excellent counter-punching side with some real speed and penetration, and we couldn't counter that well enough. So, you think of examples: drop chest marking forward 50, bounces back the other end goal. Got them under pressure in the third quarter. Last minute, just make a mistake, ball slips out, take it the length of the ground, goal, and they're just mistakes that cost you against good sides.
You called it 10 minutes of madness.
15, I think.
15, sorry. It was costly, whatever it was. But how do you view those incidents? I mean, they look relatively minor, and yet they're probably unnecessary. So how hard are you on your players for those?
I found it really hard to because we are brutal on undisciplined rubbish. There's no place in the game, and it cost the team. But I found it really hard with the vision that I had in the box, to identify whether players needed to be disciplined for it. But I know we didn't have any paid in the second half, and neither did Geelong. So probably the question should be asked is what was said to the umpires at half-time.
If we go on soft, though, because it was just a push to the chest, in particular Boomer Harvey, and the umpire said that it was too forceful. What was your take on that?
Look, we can just play to what we think the rules are. I've said before, people make mistakes, umpires make mistakes. You've got to try and keep your composure, and players have got to try and keep, get control back of the game, and we lost control of the game for whatever reason. Whatever reason you're losing control of the game, you've got to try and get it back. And, we won't tip into umpires. We'll leave that to the journalists and supporters and all that sort of stuff. But as a team, we've just got to control what we can control.
But you say that you detected a discernible change in the way it was officiated in the second half.
I just know there weren't off-the-ball free kicks in the second half. Was there one? I can't remember one. And there were a lot in the first half. So, but I mean, that's the challenge. I mean, we're trying to coach our players to be really disciplined, and as I said, I found it hard to pull out examples where our players were really undisciplined. So, but we spoke about it at half-time. The umpires have set the tone. Let's play within it. So let's not do anything that even gives them an excuse. So and that's what you can control.
Brad, what was the message at three-quarter time after that red time goal that really, really hurt?
Yeah, there was a structural mistake. So we addressed that again because it hurt us a couple of times earlier in the game as well. And because you see the speed of Motlop and Murdoch and those players, they're pretty damaging. If you make a mistake, you're not going to catch them. But we actually addressed that, but then we needed to win the game. So, we weren't going to defend the game. We needed to get back. That put it back to 3 goals, and we needed to try and attack. And we made some blues trying to do that. But, usually we execute by hand and foot better than we did tonight, and that's probably credit to the opposition. But we've got to keep playing that way.
Some of those other losses this year, you've been, palpably off your game. Does this one feel a bit different in that, you weren't too far off the mark, but ultimately you sort of weren't quite good enough?
Yeah, the intent, particularly early, the intent to play the way we wanted to play, couldn't... You always make mistakes in games, so, I mean, that's obvious, but this didn't follow the template of the losses earlier in the year.
So that's a small positive, is it?
Yeah, we've just got to get better in some areas, and the clear one for me tonight is we got exposed on the turnover, which we've been pretty good at most of the year.
What about your forward line, Brad? Because it was a fairly lean night. I suppose that's an understatement, but for those 3 tall forwards in particular?
Yeah, Hawkins kicked 3 and Kirsten kicked 1, so they kicked 4. Petrie kicked 1, Black kicked 2, Dorr kicked 1, so that's 4. So the key forward battles each end, I think it's more the mid forwards that did the damage to us tonight. I mean, yeah, we'd like more than 4 goals from our key forwards, but we also kicked 10-19, so but they had their chances as well, so it wasn't just that. But I think that the overall functioning of our forward line had to improve, and that was clearly the case in the first quarter when we had opportunity to score and didn't.
So you prefer consistency across the board with the umpiring? You're not inferring that the umpires got together at half-time and were addressed to change the way they went about it?
I appreciate your persistence on this, but I'm not going to get drawn into the umpires. I mean, I just can't. I can't comment on it. They get coached really well by Hayden Kennedy and Wayne Campbell, so I'll let them do their job and worry about mine.
Brad, do you feel like you're in a bit of a finals dogfight now?
Oh, we've got 4 games to go and 4 games to win, so that's our challenge. You can get caught up in opposition results, and we'll try not to do that. We'll just focus on our game.
You mentioned during the week, Brad, that you didn't want to play safe football. There was no real evidence of that tonight.
No, that was okay. We just would have liked to have executed it a bit better. But in both aspects, in the contest we were okay. But both aspects of defence and attack, we would have liked to have done both a little bit better in terms of execution, but intent was good.
Brad, were you disappointed with Lindsay Thomas in that third quarter? It looked very much like he took a dive to earn a free kick, but I'd like to hear what you think of.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. Whether it was a free kick or not, just play the ball, mark the ball. If you get infringed, the umpire will pay it. We've worked on that, and I think he's improved over the last 3, 4, 5 years in that stuff. But and it's pretty clear. I've said to Lindsay, if you keep doing that, the umpires will assume you're doing it all the time, even when it is a free kick. So I'll speak to him about that again.
You'd be more than comfortable if the MRP gave him a reprimand for that one then?
Well, the umpire paid a free kick, so it was a free kick.
Do you think he's aware of the potential damage to his reputation, or that reputation detracting from his talent as a player, because that's all that people end up focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like some people to go and compare his output over the last 3 years versus other players and other teams who play similar positions, and I think he come up pretty favourably, but he probably isn't spoken about in the same glowing terms because of these things, and I think that is important. But more important than that is the fact that I would hate to see Lindsay not getting free kicks when he's genuinely infringed, because there's a perception that he plays for it. So we don't condone it, and he's got to stop doing it. And I think he's been better, but he relapsed on one occasion tonight.
Thanks. The plan with Daniel Wells, because he was going to play, wasn't he, VFL, but he's been pulled out, is that right?
No, he's not playing VFL. We decided he's had a good volume of work, but we don't feel he's absolutely ready to play yet. But there's a line ball decision, so he's not far away.